Hey guys, it's Jared. I just wanted to make a quick how-to video on a complete brake change for a 2008 Lexus RX350. Today my dad and I will be showing you how to remove your front pads and front discs on your Lexus. Just as a quick disclaimer, we're not professionals. We don't do this for a living. We do this just for fun. It kind of saves us a little bit of money and we enjoy the mechanics of all this. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, comments, go ahead and just put it in the comments section or just send me a message. I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. These are the tools that we will use for our 2008 Lexus RX350 brake job. These are for the front brakes. We have a 1/2-inch ratchet, a 21, a 17, and a 14 millimeter socket. We have standard 8mm hex bolts. These are for disc removal. You'll see that later. High temperature grease and brake cleaner for some of our parts. These wood clamps you see are going to be for depressing our caliper, our caliper piston for the new pads. Today we'll be doing the front disc and front pads on a 2008 Lexus RX350. To start out with, remove the tire by using a 21mm socket. Then we're using a 14mm socket to remove the two caliper bolts behind the caliper. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. Once you remove the two bolts, you're going to have to pull apart. You're going to have to pull out the caliper. Once the caliper is removed, we suggest tying it up and moving it out of the way with some kind of string. We hung ours just from the top of the front shock. Make sure not to put too much stress on your brake hose. Using a 17mm ratchet, remove the two caliper bracket bolts similar to the caliper bolts that we just removed. Once those are removed, wiggle the mounting bracket. Once the two bolts are removed, the mounting bracket should slip right out with the pads.
Take a look at the pads. There's two wear bars right here. These are corroded, so we're going to clean those up and put a high temperature grease. One here and one here. And of course the shoes are right here and they just pop out. Simple like that. So these little tits need to be greased up nicely. On these shoes there's a mounting bracket. Not sure the purpose of it, but it's on the back of the shoe, so we just pop them off. Looks like this. It's got rubber backing on one side, and then this is the old shoe which we throw away. The second shoe pops out easily. Once we have the shoes out, these wear pads or wear marks we use a brass brush to clean off the corrosion because we're going to grease those. Because as the shoe wears, that's where
All the brake dust collects. After cleaning your mounting surfaces with a brass brush, we suggest using brake cleaner to go even further with the cleaning.
our brake shoes and the backing plate, they've been cleaned up a little bit. We just snap them on the back like this. Of course, two shoes. And then we take a high temperature grease. We just buy at our local store and put a little on where they're going to rub. Remember, there's two tits on the shoes, So you got to grease both spots. So when this is done, this shoe, this large tit at the bottom will snap into the bottom, and this spring will hold it that I'm pushing right here. This spring will hold that shoe in. The caliper mounting bracket, you can see we've greased both of the brass wear plates where the shoes will go in, and now we're going to put it back on the car.
Also, we suggest greasing with your high temperature grease the tits on the new brake pads.
Alright, to get the rotor off, we put 8mm bolts. These are metric, they're not 1/4 inch. They're just jack bolts. You snug them up against the body. 13mm wrench. Put a little pressure on one side, a little pressure on the other side. Hear it pop off.
Again, these are 8mm bolts, and he's using a 13mm socket head. We picked these up from our local shop, local Home Depot, and the disc should slide right off. The new disc, we just slide it back on just as it came off, and now we're just going to reinstall our caliper mounting bracket. The disc will hang, but once we reinstall the tire, it will pop back into place. Again, these caliper mounting bolts are 17mm, and there's 2 of them.
Now that we've put some grease on the new pads, tuck them in behind and simply push them off, and that's it, they're on.
This is the same process for the back pad also.
To get the brake caliper on, you must depress the piston, because as the brakes have worn, the piston is protruded, so now you need to get it back in. We simply use a piece of wood and some wood clamps and push it down. Be sure you open the top of the reservoir, so as you push the fluid out of this caliper, there's a place for it to go in the reservoir.
We suggest wrapping a rag around your reservoir so that if fluid does decide to run out, it does not get all over your engine. So this is the contraption we have made. We have just used a piece of wood and a couple of wood clamps, and as you can see, we are squeezing down on both wood clamps to get the piston to go back in.
So now that we've depressed the caliper back, or the piston back into the body, we've untied it. We're going to install it back on top of the
Caliper mounting bracket. After getting the holes lined up, reinstall your 14mm caliper bolts and torque them to factory specifications. Now that you have your new pads and new disc installed and all your bolts torqued down to factory spec, reinstall your cap to your brake reservoir, put back on the tire, and take it for a test ride. Thanks for watching.